take pity to my son because I can't believe, I can't imagine it. My son was killed in that way.
Junior was a member of the NYPD Explorers Youth Program and wanted to be a police officer since the age of 5. Except for school or work, they were always together. His absence in their home is almost unbearable.
I have the teacher with my son pictures, and I have to have this teacher, hold that teacher, tell to that teacher about my son, constantly hold me, and I put it inside in my chest. When I feel like I'm holding him, that's the only way I can fall asleep.
Because of the videos, community outrage, tips, and full court press by the NYPD and other law enforcement agencies, the suspects, all grown men, were quickly taken into custody. All are allegedly members of the notorious Trinitarios gang. The name may be new to many, but Congressman Adriano Espaillat tells me their terror tactics are well known in Dominican communities around the world.
I think we need an interagency task force to look at this broader than just the Bronx in New York, to look at Jersey, to look at Long Island, to look at New England, to look at Puerto Rico, the DR, Europe, and see what's happening with this criminal organization.
In our studio, Leandra shows me the banner someone made for her in Junior's honor. She says she's getting her strength to carry on from him and is preparing herself to see her son's alleged killers in the courtroom.
I want to know why they killed him, my son. Why they pick him?
Many questions surround this tragic case, especially about what happens in the future. Let's find out what our panel has to say. Joining us is Bronxboro President Ruben Diaz Jr. He's been involved with the family and with the community on this case since the very beginning. Ruben, it's good to have you here speaking out on behalf of justice.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. Also with us is Lesandro Feliz. She is the mother of 15-year-old Lesandro Jr. Guzman-feliz, and many people have been impressed by her courage as she fights for justice for her son. Leandro, great to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you very much. Also with us is Kenneth J. Montgomery. He's a criminal and civil rights attorney, former prosecutor. He's also a Fordham University Law School professor. We've been getting a lot of questions about all the legal maneuverings and charges in this case, and Ken's going to break it all down for us. Ken, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. Leandro, first of all, we heard about Junior and knew of Junior after what happened, but tell us what kind of a son he was for you.
He was a sweet son, a sweet kid. He was only 15 years old. He doesn't know nothing. He doesn't have no bad thing in the heart. He still was playing as a little kid. His bike, PlayStation, in the school, having dreaming. He wanted dreaming to be a police in the future. He was counting to finish in high school. He all the time was with me, everywhere. He's very happy and sweet kid and sweet child with me.
So this had to come as a tremendous shock to you, that something like this could happen to a boy like that.
I can't believe that. I'm still cannot get it. I'm trying to realize that this is true or not true. It's true. And I feel so, I don't have no word to explain how I am, how I feel. I just miss my son. I won't gonna have him. Never ever again. Anything happen now, thank God for everybody and the support, but nothing gonna bring my son back. And I don't have the word to express all what I want That was the last one I told to him over the phone. And then I fall asleep, and he never got back home. So the Genesis boyfriend, he would call me because Genesis called him. Friend of Genesis called Genesis. Genesis was at work at the moment and telling somebody stabbing Junior. And then she called the boyfriend. The boyfriend would call me. She said, come. Somebody stabbed Junior. And I woke up and I went out. I didn't think about he was stabbing like to the death. I probably thought it wasn't going to be something like that. There's something. So when I went running, he was already inside the emergency room at the San Barnabas Hospital. When I went to the emergency room, it was in trauma area. They don't want to give information. They say they was working with him. We cannot give information, not yet. So I went back home right away because I lived 3 minutes from the hospital. And I took another clothes. And then when I came back to the emergency, they already declared my son dead.
So that's how you found out.
And the horrible tragedy.
This horrible.
The horrible, domestic big tragedy with my son.
And the nightmare began for you.
Yeah, I lost everything. You know, I lost everything at the moment. I saw my son dead already.
And Junior was your baby, right? He was...
Little baby, only 15 years old.
Well, you know our hearts and our condolences and our thoughts and prayers. Not just me, I'm sure everybody around the world are with you. And I have to tell you that so many people are inspired by your courage and even coming here with us to speak out to make sure that this case stays on the, a top priority and that the justice is there. Ruben, when you first heard about this case, there have been issues. We hear crime is overall down in New York City, but not in the Bronx. There's been problems in the Bronx with this type of gang violence as well. What was your reaction when you heard that this happened?
Well,
To a 15-year-old boy.
First of all, I just want to say thank you for doing this because we know that in this society, people move on and you don't see this in the media. And we have to stay here to support Ms. Feliz. We have to stay here to support the family. We have to help mourn with them and as well as find justice for Julian. And I just want to say that the NYPD and the Detectives Union in the Bronx, with the help of the community and social media, did an expeditious job in making sure that we get at least a dozen of these monsters, if I don't know what else to call them, behind bars, and we need to make sure that they stay behind bars, but we need to continue to support her. And Ms. Feliz, you have been unbelievable. You've been there and strong for the community. This is something that shook us to the core when I saw this, and then you see the images and the video to see that this happened to anyone, let alone a young boy, a 15-year-old boy who
Was not involved in any gang activity.
Who did everything that his parents and society asked him to do: go to school, be a good son. He was part of the Explorers. He had dreams and hopes and aspirations. This is what we ask of our children, and for him to be butchered the way that he was, to have this gruesome video go viral all over the world, has left an indelible mark on so many people and families, people who are still out there screaming and crying, and we have to make sure that not only do we support the family, not only do we get justice for Junior, but also that he does not die in vain.
No, absolutely. Ken, one of the questions when you heard about this case, and we've heard, you had a combination. There was the video, which was unmistakable. There seemed to be no way around that. You had a lot of community pressure. Police said, sources told me, they were getting calls from the community like never before. People were really, trying to get these people caught. But one of the questions that we've been getting from our audience is the charges. There were about 5 involved in the actual attack, maybe a few more. The number now at a dozen or more of those under arrest and charged with murder. Can you explain this murder one charge? Why are they all getting murder charges?
Well, murder charges is concerned, this young teenager died. So that's always a part of the charging of the case. conspired somehow in causing the death.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to continue with this special episode of Street Soldiers talking about justice for Junior. I'm your host, Lisa Evers. We'll be right back.
And that is not the same. It's not the same.
The new Poland Spring Sparkling is...
When you found out that some of the people arrested are over 25 years old, there's one over 30 years old, that these were grown men, and you see the video of them too, they're grown men, and your boy, what did you think about that?
They was abusive. They was a killer. They didn't see they taking a baby to kill between 14, 17 people for one kid. No weapon, alone, all together, stabbing, all kind of weapon. This is unhuman.
This is why they have to pay. We have to make sure that they put away for as long as they can. And this is the reason why we all need to come together and crack down, not only on, with this gang, but with other gangs, and also work together. How do we offer our youth alternatives to this lifestyle? We just had a meeting yesterday, Lisa, in our office with about 100 stakeholders, everyone from the NYPD to the DA's office, to school safety, to the explorers and youth and youth organizations, to organizations like SOS and BRAG that are violence interrupters. And we've been also speaking to the governor's office and the city of New York. See, how is it that we can not only fund and finance the PAL, the James and Madison Boys and Girls Club, get these kids working with here to here in DreamYard. We put 200 kids in the neighborhood to work this week. But we have to make sure that we send the criminal element, a message that we will not be identified by what we saw in those horrific videos, and we are never, ever going to let them win the day. Each and every single one of them, whether they were there, in my opinion, or affiliated with this Trinitario gang or other gang members, have to make sure we have to send a clear message that Junior will not die in vain. Justice is to make sure that these individuals go behind bars, but justice is also to help the family in their mourning, to help them and give them support, but ultimately to make sure that our streets are safer and that there's hope and opportunities for the future of our children.
Leandro, New York State does not have the death penalty. Would you like to see the death penalty for the ones that actually did this to your son?
I hope God, the justice from God, catch them, because the justice from the human they're already all arrested. Now they're gonna go through the next step from God. They're gonna see the God face now. They're gonna have it.
Ken, in terms of the criminal justice system, the Bronx DA says the grand jury now is looking at these charges. Can you take us through step by step what that means? Because we don't understand why does the grand jury now have to hear this if they've already been arrested and there's this kind of evidence?
Well, that's in the New York Constitution in regards to felony crimes. You can only be charged with a felony under two circumstances in New York. If you are indicted by a grand jury, or if you waive indictment and you sign off on the felony plea with the judge and presented by the prosecution. Those are the only two ways, and the grand jury is the mechanism in which I would say maybe 90% or more of people who are charged with felony are indicted. That's the process in which it takes place, and the grand jury is not a trial. It's not you're hearing from both sides. You're simply hearing from the prosecutor as to what is likely to have had happened, and that's it. And the jurors vote on that. It's a true bill or no true bill. And after that, the case then is prosecuted in the Supreme Court felony, assuming that you've secured felony indictments. And in a case like this with publicity involved, I can't imagine that they wouldn't